What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel Anderzen, and welcome to day 24 of Vlogmas. Let's go. Alright, you guys, so we have quite a bit to cover in this episode. Continuing on, this is now going to be part 4, I believe, for the intake manifold rebuild series, and I have quite a bit to walk you guys through before we get started, but I'm going to try to be as fast as I can. So starting off here, just because we're right here already, if you guys remember the little nipple fitting that got stuck in the hose in the car, I was able to press that back in. It's just a press fit. I didn't JB weld or anything. It literally just hammered in and it's nice and solid again. That said, this thing flipped over is all clean and ready to go. We're going to put this baffle in first. And after that, I will epoxy both of the smaller baffles in place. And we'll let this one rest, move it to the side. After that, we have to get started over here. But before, let me show you a little hack that I did to fix our little end plates. So unfortunately, the previous end plate kind of had to die in order to make this, but I kind of had no choice, because if you guys remember, we found out last episode that the later model M113s switched over to this plastic housing, which sits in here like this. Used to be, one piece like this, but I couldn't end up using it even if I wanted to, because I messed up this gasket. This is actually kind of a one-time gasket, because these little pieces, little ridges, if you guys can see, are supposed to be attached to each other through the little holes in this piece. So as soon as I removed one side on accident when I was pulling it out, because I was just curious and wanted to see what the gasket was, there was no chance of me being able to install it back in. I tried, didn't work. So instead of panicking, I kind of went with what I wanted to do anyways. But in order to do this, if you guys remember, this little check flap was missing off of this one, because when I was experimenting the first time around, I ripped it and I didn't have one, and I don't know where in the heck you can find one of these. So when I found out I wasn't going to be able to use this one, I basically snipped it free very carefully and very slowly, and was able to install it into the metal one. So now I don't have to worry about plastic hose breaking ever, and I figured since I was using that side, might as well do the same thing with the other side. So these will have to get siliconed in. They're not like these ones and use this weird clear, maybe silicone based gasket, I'm not sure, but they'll just be regular silicone, same stuff we're going to be using, which is Permatex, the right stuff, 90-minute gasket maker. You need to let this dry much longer than that, but that's how long it usually takes to set. I usually give it a good 12 to 24 hours depending on what you're doing, but for these I'll just let them rest overnight after we finish, and then tomorrow I'll be able to flip them over, lay them flat, and that's when we'll start with painting. But I am going to start, actually, maybe I should start with these little flanges, give them some time to dry, and then that way, by the time we finish this job, we'll be able to throw this in here. Key thing as well, remember how we took out the vacuum diaphragm? You need to make sure this little arm is back in here if you do decide to take this off like I did, because if you install this and don't get this in that arm, you're going to be sad, because you're going to have to take it apart. So just make sure it's in there. It doesn't need to be bolted in yet. It just needs to be able to attach onto here so that it can go in, it's in the right spot, and then we can attach our diaphragm later, which I'm not even worried about, because I still got to decide if I'm going to paint on the outside. So I just need to make sure the arm is in there. Alright, that's it. I think we pretty much covered all the little intricacies that I needed to. I did do a final kind of wipe down and cleaning. I WD-40'd the intake flaps just to make sure that they were moving nice and easy after, you know, going through all the cleaning. And I did clean them up a little bit more. So everything's pretty good. The only thing I'll need to clean a bit more is the outside edges of this, but I will wait till everything is siliconed and good to go. So let me go ahead, set you guys up here, and I guess actually I'll figure out a good spot for you guys, and then I'll show you guys me installing these. Alright guys, so first thing, notice I'm wearing kind of an old grungy shirt. This is going to be a messy job, and you're going to have to wipe things off with your hands and figure out where to wipe it off. I try to use a towel as much as I can, but you know, if you got a shirt you love or something, probably don't wear it, because once this stuff gets in it, it's probably not coming out. So, like I said, we're using Permatex, the right stuff. Lots of different gasket maker you could use that would work, but I'm just going to use this because it's what I know to use. Let me get something to snip the end of this real quick and snip this. I don't know, we'll start kind of small and work our way up. I feel like I need to. So about there, I don't know if you guys can tell, but I cut a little bit of an angle. And for these, what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply the silicone to the little edges here. We'll place it on, and then after that, I'm going to silicone around the outside as well. So, key thing, make sure this side with the hose line coming down is facing on the side with the arm. Don't do them the other way, otherwise you'll be sad. So yeah, I'm just gonna install our gasket. I'm gonna stand up and do this actually. And after that, we'll go from here. I do wish that I had the little gun thing that you can use with these, but it's okay, we'll make it work. Go. Okay, first little piece is down. I'm gonna set this to the side, let it do its thing for a little while before I get it prepared to install. Next up, this is when it gets a little more challenging. It's not the most fun, but gotta do it. It's not the worst, but not the best. All right, so key things here. Be hard to see maybe, but so on these different channels, you're gonna notice that there's like different angles for some of these. So how you silicone them, like there's wider edges at the top. I basically just try to make sure that there's silicone, you know, in that whole area. So like here, it's got like a double groove. So I make sure it's on both of those little grooves right there. And all the little spines, just make sure it's tucked into the spines. But just pay attention, there, you know, there's different shapes. And you just want to make sure you have a nice layer of silicone over each one of those spots in different shapes. So it's going to take a little time. I'm probably going to time lapse this one for you guys because it's time consuming, but I'm going to do my best here. Make it work. Alright guys, we are ready for placement. Now this is directional. You can tell by the grooves where the screws sit, so let's be careful. Okay, I'm gonna let it sit like that for a second. Get all my screws ready. Next up, I'm going to mix some epoxy, and then we will get these things in here. You don't need much, to be honest. Something around there should be good. Next up, for these, you just want to pay attention to what points of contact you're going to make. So where you need to have it is basically all along the bottom, and then all along these faces and in the little half circle channels. Alright you guys, it looks like the video shut off as I was applying it, but basically just make sure you're lining it up with the grooves. And what I said afterwards was once I finish both of these, I'm going to place something heavy to evenly distribute on top and just kind of solidify it down. But now I'm on to the second one. We'll see. Man, the GoPro is not so bueno sometimes, man, I swear. Very cool, but sometimes more of a headache and kind of unreliable. I press record and sometimes it'll just shut off. Alright you guys, everything is applied. You can see all the areas covered. Let's go ahead and place this thing down. Make sure you line it up as you're going through. Just like so. We're in there. Alright, wipe off the excess. Okay. You're good. Alright, I am gonna go ahead and grab something heavy to evenly distribute some weight on here, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, I found the cans of paint that we're going to use actually were a perfect fit to put some weight onto the other half. We're ready to get started with the bottom section. However, we need to talk about the hose modification that we're going to be doing to replace the factory line. So, let me grab the supplies. Alright guys, real quick before this thing dies, I'm going to be using two different hoses to do this. This inner one is a 3/16, and the big one is a 3/8. So I'm basically going to fit this inside of here, and I'm going to use that as the replacement for what they use from factory. Alright guys, so hose is attached. One thing I like to do as well is apply a little bit of silicone on the inside of it, just because the hose is not a perfect fit inside of here. And then what I'm going to do is silicone the bottom area where this is going to sit on the actual piece inside of the chamber there, and then I will also silicone the bottom of the outside after I'm done on the bottom of the lower half. So this can stay sitting for now, and I will start to silicone the inside of the lower baffle. Alright, and this one is going to take even longer. Away we go. So, key things on this one, like I said, I'm going to silicone the bottom. Key things on this one, I'm going to silicone the bottom, like I said, in this area. That's where the hose is going to sit. Other things, make sure you get, you know, both of the outside edges here. And besides that, it's just little grooves. This one's a little easier actually because it's just straight shots. It's not like the other one where it's curving as you go to the top. So wish me luck. We'll time lapse it. Guys, and once it gets that far into the bottle, I'll keep this for extra for other stuff, but I'm gonna have to go to the other bottle because it's getting too hard to squeeze. Alright, I don't know how much of that you guys caught, but we are ready to place this in. Again, key thing, feed the hose through, make sure your arm gets attached. And there we go, guys. Alright, sorry you guys' view is a little off there, but I had to drag it this way to make room for the hose. Let me take you guys off the wall and I'll show you. Alright, so here we are. Here's what I mentioned before with the hose. I'm gonna now silicone the bottom of that and let it dry there. See, we got a little bit of excess going out the sides, but don't worry about it. It's not a big deal, to be honest. You can flatten it out if you want to. I might go through and do that, but won't change much. Everything is there, nice and applied. Kind of mad I didn't clean the screws. I forgot to do that, but that's okay. I'll still do that right now. But yeah, got the paint can sitting on the other one. Pretty much done for the night. It's about 2 in the morning right now, so I'm gonna head to bed and I will catch you guys in the morning and we'll continue on. Alright guys, we are back later on in the morning, not the next morning, but we've let things dry overnight. Good way to tell if silicone is set. Test out our little outer piece right here, and it's nice and solid. Still gonna let it set obviously, but it's, you know, movable and touchable, so it's a good sign. Can probably take these off because we're gonna use this, and these are definitely in here. MBWorld does not have that long of a cure time, so that is good, but I'll also, you know, not really touch those things yet as well. But what we're going to work on now is painting the upper half of this, well, at least starting the process with our metal primer. I don't think, let's see, so there's not much we have to mask off. I'm going to mask off this, the EGR block off plate, and our two ends down here. And this we probably could, we don't really need to. This is what the solenoid sits onto. So yeah, not much masking off to do. I might give it one more wipe down, but it should be good. Alright you guys, so before I do the acetone wipe down, I just went around and sanded down all the little areas that had some imperfections, just trying to get them smooth to the touch. So some of these areas are where like the metal had flaked up a little bit, basically just from water or corrosion, and basically causes the outer layer to lift. I don't know what, I'm guessing this is like a magnesium mix, magnesium alloy, but when it gets the water underneath, then it will basically like start flaking up, and underneath you can see it'll be like this dark kind of black color, and it's kind of crumbly at that point. So basically just sanded it down to where it's smooth, and that way I can paint over this and it won't be an issue. So gonna go ahead and wipe it down, acetone, and then we'll get our primer. Alright you guys, got this thing taped off. We are ready to start our primer. Also, this is gonna wobble a little bit because there's a dowel right here, so don't worry about that. But should be pretty easy. Painting by hand, so got a little more control than if you were just rattle canning something. Alright guys, we are all done with round one. This is just a primer, and again we'll be hitting it with the aluminum color afterwards. I'm sure there'll be a few spots I have to touch up, but overall should be pretty good. Run those in. Yeah. Coverage pretty good. Try to get as much as possible. Sure, there's some few spots that I missed, but overall we should be in pretty good shape. Let it dry, and I will see you guys later on in the day. Alright you guys, so the weather has definitely changed. Time to get out into the nature. Alright you guys, we're out and about. Just did a little bit of a last minute Christmas shopping. Merry Christmas. Merry Chrysler. Why you? My wife's eating some chicken jerky. How's yours?
Okay.
Good? Yeah. This G-Wagon that I see all the time, I always wanted to show you guys, just pulled up in here, so I'm gonna show you guys. Alright. They're shopping at the Dollar Tree just like we were just at. But yeah, it's actually a G55. I saw the V8 compressor badge on it. I don't know what this guy's doing.
Student driver.
Oh, that makes sense.
G-Wagon.
G-Wagon. Yeah, it's cool. It's all like trekked out. It's got the ladder and the little board on the side and luggage carrier on top. I don't know what this student driver is doing. But I'll give you guys a good look once I get a chance. I wish I pulled up before them so you can see it from the side view. But it's a very cool spec. Alright guys, well we're gonna go the other way because I don't know what that guy's doing, but it's a nice car.
We've had our experience with student drivers.
Yeah. Alright guys, later on, Brother Dean got the mom and wife matching coats. May's got this sick truck. And I'm Lakers all day. Thanks, Darren. Say thank you. Alright guys, we are back home right now. It's pretty much dry. But there's a few things that I'm going to go over. I'm going to sand down a few areas that I'm not really happy with instead of moving forward. I've taken this much time. I don't want to rush it and, you know, not be happy with end results. Few areas like up here I did not notice. I'm going to sand this down because it's pretty bumpy up there. A couple of little spots in the front. One little spot down there, spot back here. The rest of it, a little bit back here. But overall, the rest of it is looking pretty good. Maybe a little bit right here. So it doesn't need to be perfect again, but I can get it a little better than this without too much more work. So might as well do so. But I'm just gonna go over, kind of touch it up, finalize the primer, and I'm gonna let it sit until tonight. It's about 4:30 right now. And then for tomorrow's video, I'm gonna record tonight, and you guys will see the aluminum, and hopefully have this thing resealed back for Christmas. That said though guys, that'll go ahead and wrap up today's video. Making a little bit of progress little by little, as you guys have seen the last few days. At least we're working in the warmth now. Hopefully by the end of tonight I can take care of all this and get it resealed, and I will update you guys when I do so. But it's gonna need a little perfecting, and we'll go from there. So thank you guys for watching. I wish you guys all Merry Christmas if you celebrate, Happy Holidays regardless, and I will catch you guys soon for the last day of Vlogmas. Crazy. Thank you guys for going on this journey with me. See you on the next one. Peace.